So this is Linda Borden calling to order the Easton Library Board of Trustees to their meeting on August 8th, 2022. We have our Board of Trustees that are in attendance are Linda Borden, Kevin Sheehan, Patricia McPhee, Peter Reed. We have our director, Jennifer DiCarlo, present, and absent are Mary Jane Connor and John O'Brien. Nellie Lewandowski is also not present. She's attempting to get in with Zoom and may be joining us later in the meeting if that technology problem is fixed for her. So we'll start with approval of previous board minutes. So Jennifer has sent them, or through Nellie, who's our secretary, Jennifer has sent them to all of our board members. Was there any corrections on the previous minutes or additions from any of our trustees? Okay, hearing no additions or corrections, can I have a motion to accept the minutes, please?
Patricia moves to accept the meeting minutes.
Seconded by?
Peter Reed, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll move on to the treasurer's report, and Peter also sent us the treasurer's report. So we've had a chance to look at the report. Any particular questions for Peter on the report that we received? Peter, anything you want to draw our attention to in particular?
Well, I got some items I'm going to bring up. So far, as of today, total income is like $83,300, and expenses is $40,499. So we've got revenue. I don't know if you call it revenue, of $42,818 right now. Now this is through 7 months, so we got another 5 months to go. Estimate at the end of the year, the way things are going now, we'll probably end up with about $10,000 over, more income than we have expenses. So just keep that in mind.
All right.
One other thing, we got LLSA grant, program grant was received. I know Jennifer in her notes there mentioned that it was $1,434 that has been deposited. And one other thing, just want to bring up the next meeting we have in September. We're going to have to approve our budget. Jennifer and I are going to have to get together, put a budget together, because the town of Easton, I believe, has their budget meeting in September, and they're going to want to see our budget. So things to keep in mind.
Okay.
Oh, one other thing, this isn't really directly involved in the treasurer's report, but the library is now registered with the statewide financial system, the SFS, which is replacing Grant Gateway program. So you can't get any money from the state unless you're registered with the SFS. That has been done or registered.
And
That's
I
it.
appreciate, thank you, Peter. I appreciate that you were able to switch that over from Grants Gateway so that we will be ready if we have any grants that we wish to apply for with the state. So I'm glad you were able to do that. Really glad. Anybody have any questions for Peter on anything that he's just brought up? Okay, so may I have a motion that we accept the treasurer's report that we have, please?
Kevin makes a motion to accept the report.
Seconded by,
Patricia can second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any opposed? Okay, so our treasurer's report is approved. As far as a president's report, we'll be taking up approval of a self-assurance later on in the meeting. This is for a grant that Sal's is going to apply for, and for each individual library has to give Sal's permission to do so. This is so that they can go ahead and apply for a grant, and then that grant would be used to update our what is it called, Jennifer? Help me out. That piece of
Oh.
equipment.
It's the router.
The router, thank you. Yes, it will update the routers that need to be replaced. That's all I have as a president's report of something that we have to take care of, and we'll tend to that later in the meeting. So director's report from Jennifer.
Okay. I'm gonna really condense my notes that I sent to everyone. So just an update on the farm to library program, to highlight a few things. The Erica Freudenberger from Sal's, she was able to send me their press release. It was a template in June, and I tailored it to the Easton Library, and I sent it out to the Journal Press, the Journal and Press, the Eagle, the Free Press, and I posted it on social media sites such as the Front Porch Forum, Facebook, and Instagram. And then there were some issues with keeping food fresh. So between discussions back and forth with Comfort Food and talking with people, local patrons that are familiar with keeping vegetables fresh, we determined that if the library allowed me to purchase plastic bags with the open top, that we could store the vegetables better. And so when they arrive on Thursdays, we try to divvy the vegetables up and place them in these plastic bags, and the vegetables do seem to last longer, which is good, and stay fresh, which is what we want. And the lifespan of the vegetables is lengthened. They don't get all wilted, and we found out before that when we showed up on Saturday at the library, everything like heads of lettuce were just, we couldn't give it away because it was in such bad shape. So now everything lasts till Wednesday if it's not gone, which is good.
Wonderful. That's great. That's a real good improvement. Excellent.
Yes.
Good.
And then I also emailed Aaron Gabriel, who is a patron of the library, and he works for Cornell Cooperative Extension, and he works with farm families. And I asked him if he could help with the outreach, and he said, I sent him flyers and information, and he said that he would help publicize the program. Then one last note, Mary from Comfort Food, she's emailing me on a weekly basis so that I can post on the refrigerator where the produce is originated from. 99% of it is from local farms, and it's very helpful to patrons to know where the produce comes from. Then we have the Great Give Back, which is this year is slated for October 19th. And last year, Easton Library participated in conjunction with Greenwich Free Library in the collection of mittens, hats, scarves, and socks to donate to teen and adult shelters locally. And this year, I am meeting on August 23rd with Greenwich Free Library again to collaborate. So that'll be fun. I'm thinking we probably will do the same thing since it worked so well last year, but I'll have to see what they have to say. I've been trying to drum up some teen volunteers at the library. I emailed Rebecca Catlin in June at Greenwich Central School High School Guidance Office, and she was willing to help me. And I was seeking a lot of kids who are looking for volunteer hours who are trying to be on the National Honor Society. They are usually looking for volunteer hours. I don't know if I said that right, but there's a lot of thoughts going on in my head. So she helped me reach out to some of these kids, and I got a response from 3 teens. And so one, I needed teens for help at a summer program that we did a water wheel, and I had 1 teen volunteer, which was good. And the other one, I am trying to get a once a month tech drop-in help from, I thought a teen helper would be good with that. But the teen who responded to my email I told him what was involved and he never responded again. So I guess I have to try again with Miss Catlin. So good news about the crosswalk. We have now pedestrian walking signs that have been installed in front of the library, and one on the library side and one on Burton Hall side, and then also north and south on 40 to warn drivers that there is a pedestrian crossing. So I'm hoping by August we might actually have a crosswalk, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. We had a summer reading program, dance and movement workshop at Burton Hall on July 13th. We had a summer reading program, Hot Club of Saratoga at Burton Hall on July 20th. We had a summer reading program with Kathy Cesari, Make a Water Wheel on July 27th. And that completes our summer reading programs, and it was fun to have them at Burton Hall. Everyone could move around and everyone enjoyed it. We have a lot of readers, especially adult readers, and the program ends officially on August 20th. So keep reading. We had on August 1st, we had our new mini PC installed with the keyboard, mouse, and Kensington lock, and Sal's remotely installed the printers. Then, as part of a marketing campaign coordinated by the Capital District Library Council, it partnered with iHeartRadio for promotion, driving their radio and web listeners into local libraries for the summer for a chance to win a $250 gift card to Stewart's and other prizes. The promotion goes from August 8th to September 4th, and library visitors can scan a QR code that's posted on the flyers. You can enter your phone number and you can visit the website posted on the flyer. And that's the only way you can participate is by visiting a public library, which I think is pretty exciting because it's not costing libraries anything. It's a win-win situation, so. And you get a choice of 3 different radio stations, and I chose all 3. So I've got flyers as you first walk in the library, so it doesn't matter what radio station you listen to. You can take your pick. And let's see. Couple last things. Agriculture Literacy Week books. We're missing 3 copies, and Linda Law, she works for Washington County, or she works for Cornell Cooperative Extension, and she is going to get us the copies that we need, which is kind of nice. So we're going to get 3 new books for free. So, and it'll we'll have from 2006. We'll have books from 2006 all the way to 2022, which is nice. So I have a list of all the books. And one last thing, today I met with the friends, Carol Williams and Nadia Christie were the friends that showed up. And we have new book bags for sale. They are $25 a bag now. It costs more to make products, unfortunately, but they're very nice bags. They're a different shape. They're not wide and short. They're long and narrow, but they still have a pocket and a picture of we are friends of the Easton Library on the front. They're very nice. And let's see, what else? We discussed the success of the summer reading program and what to do for year-end prizes. Carol and Nadia will pick up the gifts. We talked about using the last old book bag that we have for a raffle drawing prize for the book and bake sale in November, along with the glassware donated by Jim and Linda Borton, which is the Burton Hall commemorative glassware. And that is the end of my director's report.
Thank you, Jennifer. Everything sounds like it's going very well and you're very, very, very busy.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Yes. Does anybody have any other questions for Jennifer about anything they're thinking about or something that she had on her written report that they want to discuss more in detail?
Have you heard anything from Mary Jane and John about the ivy on the, chimney?
Well, that is part of new business, I think. So I was going to bring that up in new business.
All right, I take back my question. You bring it up in new
Okay.
business.
I am glad that you asked.
Don't take it back, Peter. It's just going to be answered later.
That's right.
So moving on to old business then, we have discussion about the second check signer. We've been working on that. How's that progressing? That would be either Jennifer or Peter would know information about that.
I think we're all set. Kevin and I met at TD Bank, and I think we signed the paperwork. So Kevin can sign checks now,
Yippee.
Yay.
but I'm not sharing the checkbook with you. So
Yeah,
there.
that's it. But I can sign checks all day.
All right, so I guess that takes care of that issue, and I'm so happy, Kevin, thank you for volunteering to take on that duty for us and give Peter a backup in case he needs it sometime. So the next order of business in old business is our remote policy. We discussed this at length at our last Zoom meeting. We decided we really thought it was a good idea to go ahead and give our trustees the option of being able to meet remotely if there were some undue circumstances such as illness at home, or themselves were ill or injured and couldn't attend. So we decided to pursue that. We discovered that we needed to, in order to make this resolution, we needed to have a information sent out to the public about a public hearing. Jennifer put the information online and posted that we were going to hold a public hearing on the virtual meetings of the Board of Trustees. She published that. Tonight at 6:45, I opened a public hearing at the library. I had no one attend. The purpose of this public meeting, this public hearing, was to give the public a chance to comment positively or negatively or ask questions about our about moving forward with whether or not we wanted to go ahead and make that an option for our trustees. So no one came to the meeting. I closed it. And so I have to report to you as trustees that there were no comments held at the public meeting that we had. So Jennifer did send everybody a copy of what we're proposing as the resolution for video conferencing. So just to give you some background on this, we of course have a policy that we must and will follow public open meeting laws. This is a process that the state has recently put into effect to, for the first time, allow members of a governing body to meet remotely and not have to meet in a public place. Our policy states some of the laws that go along with this, such as the person meeting remotely would not be counted as part of your quorum requirement. You still need to be meeting in your public building, and there has to be a quorum there. They do have the right to vote, however, and their vote would count. So has everybody had a chance to read the resolution that Jennifer sent? I want to make sure that you all agree with it and ask if you have any questions, if you want us to change anything, make any changes on it, if you've noticed anything that you're not comfortable with or you think should be changed.
I have some questions.
Yes, Peter.
Yes, the second paragraph, it says trustees are expected to be physically present at meetings at a location or locations open to the public. If we're having a video Zoom meeting, everybody's having it at their own house. What public, what location is open to the public?
So this policy it takes effect when the governor decides we're no longer allowed to have Zoom meetings. So when we're no longer allowed to have Zoom meetings, we will have to meet back in the library all the time. And so right now we have the right, because the governor has allowed us to have Zoom meetings in our home with no public present, but that could be rescinded at any time. Right now it's open till I think the end or mid-August, but she very well may extend it again. All these times we've been meeting by Zoom, the governor keeps extending it.
It's
The
month by month.
Yes, month by month, she extends it. So eventually, if it is then changed and we can't meet by Zoom, then this policy would allow one or more of our members to meet from home under extenuating circumstances and not have to have the public in their house.
Okay,
Did that make
that was
sense?
my question.
Did that make sense to you?
Yes. In
Okay.
other words, this policy doesn't go into effect until the governor says we can't have Zoom meetings anymore.
right, or until we as a board decide we prefer to meet in the library and we're gonna hold our meetings in the library. You know, like, let's say next month we say, well, the governor says we could still meet by Zoom, but we as a board say, no, we want to get together in person in the library. We're going to meet in the library. Then this policy could be used and allow one of our members who have extenuating circumstances to meet by Zoom. We'd be all in the library and one person would be home.
Okay, that answers my question. That was my
Okay.
only concern.
All right, it took us a while to figure this out too, Peter, so, yeah. So anybody else, any questioning about this? Again, as background information, this is called a resolution and not a policy because it is tweaking the policy that we already follow and have our open meeting law policy. That's why it's called the resolution instead of a policy. At least that's what Sarah Dallas educated me about.
So do we have to vote to approve this resolution?
We do, we do. So any further questions? No, may I have a motion then to accept this resolution?
I make a motion, we accept the resolution as written.
Anyone want to second that?
I can second that, Patricia.
Okay. Are we all in favor?
Yes.
Aye, yes?
Yes,
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so we have adopted this resolution and resolution for video conferencing when, if a trustee has an extenuating circumstance.
Linda, I have a question. Does this go on our website with our other policies, or can this just go into our policy manual?
I believe it has to go in on the website, but I think we can check that out with Sal's and confirm it. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay. We'll ask Sarah.
Okay.
So let's see, that takes care of our old business. We're moving on to new business. Oh, new business, cyber liability insurance. So Jennifer did send us some information about, from Sarah, about this new trend or new need or new awareness that's going on about having cyber liability insurance. I will tell you, if you hadn't read about it, that Sarah and Sal's tried to get cyber liability insurance for all of the libraries and to cover it from Sal's, but the insurance company would not allow that each library has to get their own. So they attempted to do that for us, but the insurance company wouldn't accept it. So do we know anything further about this, the cost or anything about this?
I have no idea.
Who do you
I-
ask?
I'm sorry, Jennifer.
Who do you ask? Like, wouldn't your insurance agent know who to ask? I mean, can Peter ask our insurance agent?
I can check with the insurance agent and see what they say. Maybe Sarah might be able to help us there and give us direction as to what insurance company would cover it if our regular insurance company doesn't cover it. So let me see what I can find out.
Okay, I think it's a good place to start. We need to know cost. I mean, I kind of want to know what it is they cover and what they don't cover. This is like really not in my realm of knowledge of insurance for this type of thing, for cyber coverage. So Peter, that'd be great. I'd appreciate it if you check with the insurance company and see what they can give you information about it or not.
Yep, I'll get back to you. Once I find out something, I'll see if I can
Okay,
email everybody back. I'll email the board with what I find.
all right, that sounds good. Good, thank you. All right, so our next new order of business is upgrading the routers. So, a number of years ago, Sal supplied routers for all of the libraries. The routers are now past past when they're going to be doing a good job. There is a grant that Sal can write for to supply the libraries with routers. They want to write the grant, they'll get the routers, they'll pay for the routers. It won't cost us anything. They'll come and install the router. And so then the router will then work with the Sal system again, and they'll be able to repair it. Should anything happen to it, they have to update them. That's what they're trying to do for us. In order to write the grant, the government requires that each individual library do a self-assurance of trustee education. Oh, sorry. Do a approve that we approve that SALS can go ahead and order and write the grant, and that we're in favor of them writing the grant. So I need to know if you are in favor of allowing SALS to buy us new routers and install them for us and apply for this grant so that they have the money to do that. Any questions or comments about that particular thing?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, let them do all the work.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like a win-win situation. I can't see any reason we'd be opposed to it.
No.
Okay, so can I have a motion that we will give Sal's permission to buy these routers, I'm sorry, apply for a grant, give them permission to apply for a grant, and that we will be willing to accept the routers and use them in the library.
I'll make them. Yeah. Go ahead, Patricia.
I move that we let Sal's write that grant, get us the routers installed and service them.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye,
Aye.
yes. Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstained? Okay, thank you. I'll fill out the form that I need to do for Sal's and send that back in. And I think that takes us to the end of, oh no, we have library building issues that Jennifer was going to address.
Yes, so we have, like I put in my director's notes, we have ivy growing on our chimney. And it's very heavy. It's growing up the side of the building. It's growing into that tree that is next to the building. Gosh, I named the tree in my notes, and it's does anybody know the name of that tree? The hemlock tree. And the hemlock tree is becoming unsightly. It's huge. It's rubbing up against the window pane on the other side of the library. Also, those big, I don't know what kind of trees, those triangular trees are so bushy. We need to have those trimmed back. Somebody has said to me, well, why don't we have the trees removed and new trees put in? I think this is my 2 cents worth. I think the hemlock should be taken out, and I think that maybe we could put a bush there. the ivy needs to definitely be attended to. The other bush, the other trees, I think they just need to be trimmed back because they do protect the building from the storms that come from the west. Because in the winter time, we get a lot of storm frontage that comes across. But I'd hate to really see them taken out. But those, yeah, some of those trees are just, they're hanging in the walkway again. I know that they were trimmed back last year, but I don't think, I think they need more, like, I think more aggressive trimming. I think they were subtly trimmed. I think that we need an aggressive trim. And Mary Jane said she was going to reach out to John, and she did text me today, and she said that she sent him a text, but she hasn't heard from him. So if he's not at the meeting tonight, I should let her know, and she's going to call him.
Okay, as far as John goes, I believe what he said to me was that they were going away and they weren't going to be around, so maybe that's why he's not responded to her.
Oh, okay, all right.
So thoughts on the ivy and the bushes and the hemlock tree, anybody?
I kind of, I agree with Jennifer. If you take the trees, the shrubs out, I mean, I know like we get winds where we live, any protection added to the building, it's not, you know, it takes time for something you plant to grow up.
Yeah, I am really in favor of trimming them back aggressively because they're on the ramp and also on the sides entering the library, the steps. They really made the front steps very narrow. You know, they're infringing on those two front steps. I definitely think we have to take care of the ivy before it works its way into the brickwork and causes us a big problem. I don't know how to go about finding someone, but I think that it is imperative that we make sure this building is, you know, kept in as best shape as we can. So, does any, you know, we're reaching out to John because he's been doing buildings and grounds, but does anybody have any leads? Does anybody know somebody who would know about taking out a tree, you know, and taking down ivy? No.
I don't
Well,
know.
I've used,
Yeah, we just had a tree looked at that we had taken down ultimately, but Don Domer, who was in Greenwich, looked at our tree. He's an arborist, but I don't know much beyond that.
I've heard of him. I think he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
That might be a good place to start. Especially if he's an arborist, he'd probably do better trimming the trees out front.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's time for us to, you know, hire someone and, you know, get things in shape for sure.
Okay. All right.
So Jennifer, what route do you want to go? Do you want to wait for John? Do you want to make a call to the Don Domer and ask him if,
I can try to reach out to this Don Domer person.
okay, yeah, I think we need to get on it, and if he's as busy as anybody else is, it'll be a wait probably.
Yeah, it will be. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty quick when they came to look at our tree. So while they're probably busy, I'm sure they have I think he was pretty quick to us. So, and that was like 2 months ago now, month and a half ago.
Oh, good. So maybe we'll have an answer. Yeah, I guess that sounds good, Jennifer. Yeah, get back to me or get back to the board with a email if, you know, when you find something out.
Okay. Okay.
And I mean, as usual, if it's within our price range of you making decisions without having to wait for a board meeting, and he can do it before the next board meeting, I would say, go ahead, if the financial piece of it is reasonable within your decision-making powers.
Okay. All right.
Does everybody else feel that same way?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so building issues and any other building issues that we should know about?
Well, thank goodness that that's all I can think of right now.
Okay. All right, sounds good then. So setting our next meeting date.
Can I go back to old business before we do that?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
I forgot to sneak this in. So I wanted to update everybody on the program committee. I want to schedule a meeting for September 13th or 15th. September 13th is a Tuesday, September 15th is a Thursday at 6:30 p.m. So there are like, I want to say over 10 names that I'm going to send this program committee email out to. And I know that Linda, you were on the program committee, and I'm assuming you still want to be on it. And Peter, and I think Kevin and Patricia, were you on it? Maybe not. I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Okay. But do any of you have a preference to a Thursday, a Tuesday, or a Thursday night, like at 6:30?
Fine.
Either should work for me.
Yeah, no preference right now. And like if you get enough members, Jennifer, I would be happy to get off of the program committee. It's just that, I started on it and kind of got hooked into it. So,
Okay.
so, but I wouldn't leave you high and dry. If you don't get enough members, then, I would continue to be on it because I think it's really important. And I do enjoy some of it. It's just that I feel like I have so many things going on in my life right now.
You do have a lot going on. Yeah.
It's just hard for me to make commitments and not, and then feel badly that I can't keep them anymore.
Well,
So-
don't feel bad. So,
Yeah, well,
okay. Also, I'll probably schedule it for the 15th. So I will, I'm gonna get on that either tomorrow or Wednesday. So that's my next challenge.
okay, well, you've been checking them off one at a time very nicely. Great job.
Thanks.
So,
Okay, I'm finished.
okay, so now what do we think about our next meeting? Peter already reminded us that at our next meeting, we're going to have to discuss the budget. So Peter, now I wish Mary Jane was here. She has a good memory. Maybe somebody else does, of exactly when the board always wants our budget information. I would have to pull up my notes to find out if I have it.
I wish I could remember.
I just, yeah,
I have all that stuff at the library.
yeah. Hmm.
Now, they meet the first or second Monday of the month, right?
Tuesday, I think.
Oh, okay, so is it the second Tuesday of the month?
That's-
I think it's
Um,
yeah. I thought it was Monday.
So they will be meeting on the 13th of September. If that's the case. Correct?
I guess. Peter, do you remember when we would go, when they want this by?
I think last year we ended up giving it to Dan Shaw. Because he was saying he was looking for it. I don't think we made a presentation last year to the board itself.
Okay. I'm looking to see if I can find when we have approved our budget. That would tell us. Oh, okay. I can't find it by flipping through quickly. Well, does it make sense? Oh, wait a minute. All right, here's an old minute, Peter, I have, so forgive me, it's old, but it should be the same. From August of 2020, I have the treasurer's report says, we should have the 2021 budget ready for the town of Easton by mid-September. So I think mid-September it is.
So
I
if
think
we,
it was-
so if we had a meeting on the 12th, September 12th, that's 5 weeks. So what do you think, Jennifer?
That's
Think we can
fine.
put together a budget in
Perfect.
5 weeks?
Perfect.
I like that. Why don't we figure on meeting on the 12th?
Okay, so we're planning to meet on September
12th.
12th, 7:30 is our next meeting. On the agenda will be discussion of the budget that Peter and Jennifer are going to draw up a preliminary budget for us. Okay, anything else before we adjourn? Okay, then can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Kevin makes a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll
Second.
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll adjourn the meeting, and the meeting of the Easton Library Board of Trustees is adjourned at 8:33 PM on August 8th, 2022. And Jennifer, you can stop the recording.